and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand all the latest cues from the D Street, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and also all the stocks that are passing the most in trade. We'll get you expert voices to help you understand how should you be approaching the equity markets at this point in time and where are the opportunities for investment emerging in today's trading session as well. But first up, a quick check as to how the benchmark indices are doing at this point in time. After spectacular rally in the last four sessions, we've seen 3 consecutive sessions of record levels, and the 4th session continues even today. We've seen 19,400 and above those levels on the Nifty today. It's still up above 65 odd points or 0.3% up in trade. 65,500 is the level that we've seen, another milestone in today's trading session for the Sensex. It's still up about to 90 odd points, almost half odd percent of a move on the Sensex as well. The Nifty Bank is also soaring higher, so you're seeing some support coming in from the financial services space, from the PSU banking space, and overall on the Nifty Bank, you're seeing that move come in. And therefore 0.7% of a move at the day's high level, 45,478 record levels for the Nifty Bank as well, 320 points of a jump for this one. The PSU banks are rallying and supporting the Nifty Bank overall, 2.5% uptick for this one. Let's also look at financial services basket, because 2 of the major names from the financial services space, you're seeing Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finance both supporting the markets at this point, and you're seeing all the 3 constituents almost at the day's high level from the Nifty Bank. Apart from this, you're seeing the very strong move coming in on Bajaj Finance. It's up 7.5% right now at 78.74. The mid and small caps also continue, so it's a broad-based buying action that you're witnessing on the D Street today. Both the mid and the small cap 100 indices are hovering higher by almost half odd percent in today's trading action. Let's look at the mid cap 100 index, for example. That's up by 0.2% in fact in today's trading action. The small caps are up by 0.6% odd, so that's the better index in today's trading action. India VIX is up by 1.3%, that's 11.0 at these levels today. Apart from this, when you talk about the sectoral moves in today's trading action, you'll see barring say the autos, the FMCG counters, the pharma counters, rest of the sectors are doing well. So what's the index that you should watch out for? Of course, the PSU banks, that's the one that's leading from the front, 2.6% up. 1.5% up move for the media stocks as well. Over 1% gains coming in for the financials pack. So that's the one that's moving the index higher. Nifty Bank 0.7% up in trade. Private bank supporting as well. You're seeing the IT stocks just about 0.2% up in trade. Also, realty space half odd percent of gains coming in. On the oil and gas space, that's down today. You're seeing some profits being taken off. Yesterday there was a very sharp move on the top. Oil and gas space stocks are down by half odd percent in today's trade. Now, when we talk about the top gainers on the Nifty, like I said, Bajaj Twins, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, both up by over 5.5%, 7.5% in trade. Hero MotoCorp is up by 2.5%. Titan, SBI, these are the stocks that are moving the most. On the downside, Eicher Motors, Bharti Airtel, Grasim, ONGC and Reliance Industries. These are the stocks that are down by anywhere between 1 to 5 odd percent in today's trading action. Eicher Motors really taking a beating that were, at that 5.2% down in trade right now. But let's welcome our guest on the show. Nilesh Jain joins in from Central Broking. Welcome, Nilesh, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Well, the markets are soaring higher. We are seeing constantly newer records being formed on an everyday basis. But at this point, in a very short span of time, the markets have really ran up quite sharply. Now, this is where investors get really scared, nervous about what's next. How long will this bull run continue? Where are the levels that are going to be, we are going to see the peak in the markets, and therefore are there increasing worries of profit booking right now? How do you see the markets?
Very good afternoon to you, Sakshi. Well, absolutely. The kind of run-up that we have seen in last 6 consecutive sessions, the Nifty index has gained more than 800-point move in last only 6 consecutive sessions. So, given the fact that the markets are a little bit overbought at current level, there could be possibility of some profit booking, but the major undertone, major structure continues to remain on a positive side. The Nifty index is trading well above their respective short-term and long-term moving averages. As far as the upside targets are concerned, I think 19,600, 19,800 could be seen in the July series. And on the lower side, now the base has shifted slightly on a higher side towards 18,800 to 19,000 zone. So as long as Nifty index sustains above 19,000, we believe that we might see a further upside move to continue towards 19,500, 19,800 in a very short term time frame. And any decline could be a good opportunity to make a fresh entry on the long side. At current level, as I mentioned, there could be possibility of some profit booking, but we don't see any major trend reversal, major sell-off on immediate basis. On the other hand, if you look at the Bank Nifty as well, it is sustaining well above 45,000 psychological support mark for this second consecutive session, trading in uncharted territory. And the structure-wise, it is looking very strong for 46,000 sort of levels on the higher side. So overall, we believe that the markets are very strong and buy and decline should be the approach.
Okay. Let's focus on some of the stocks, of course, that are in news today, and then we will focus on some of the themes that investors can bet on. First up, it's the IDFC Limited stock and the IDFC First Bank stock that are in focus in today's trading action. The merger has been announced. The board of IDFC First Bank has approached the proposal to merge IDFC Limited and IDFC Financial Holding Company with the bank. Now, the merger is definitely subject to approvals going forward from here, but you're seeing IDFC First Bank down in trade by almost 4% odd, but IDFC Limited shares, in fact, they saw some kind of a surge coming in. Now, the share swap ratio that has been approved is that 155 shares of IDFC First Bank for every 100 shares of IDFC held is what the investors will be getting. First up, Nilesh, I wanted to take your first thoughts. We had just a few days ago on 1st of July, the merger of HDFC and HDFC Bank coming in, creating a financial behemoth in the Indian stock markets, and a bank that will have a place in the global setup as well, a huge behemoth that will be looked upon as well. And now, just a few days later, we have IDFC Limited and IDFC First Bank merger coming in. What does this signify for the overall investors community at large? How should they be viewing this news development?
Well, Sakshi, now it has become common that we are witnessing merger between NBFCs and the banks. We have already seen with HDFC twins. Now we are witnessing with IDFC Limited and IDFC First Bank as well. But this merger is slightly different from the HDFC because here IDFC doesn't have any branches. They don't have any sort of business, but still they hold 40% in the banks, which will be going forward will be diversified. So, given the fact that IDFC doesn't have any meaningful business, once it gets merged to IDFC First Bank, that will provide some synergy for the banks, and the net worth of the bank will increase by 600 crore since that amount is lying idle with IDFC Limited. So that will be certainly going forward will be used by IDFC First Bank. So overall, it will be a good merger. The market cap, the combined market cap would be somewhere around 70,000 crore. So altogether, post-merger, I think it will be a bigger entity from small banks. It might come up in the category of the large cap. So that will certainly have a positive impact in the inflows for the IDFC First Bank is concerned. The ratio that you have already highlighted, 155 IDFC First Bank will be given against 100 of IDFC Limited. So that is another point that to be noted. And another point, there would be a potential inclusion in the MSCI index that will certainly have an inflow of 170 to 180 million dollar. So all these sort of factors are certainly a positive for the IDFC merger. And technically, I think looking at the overall structure, both the stocks are trading at their respective 15-year high. So structure-wise, both the stocks are looking positive.
Okay, structure-wise, both the stocks are looking positive. We've seen that the risk-reward ratio is being seen as a favorable for IDFC Limited, and that is why we did see that IDFC Limited shares did surge in the early trade, while IDFC First Bank shares fell. What would that mean for all the investors looking to tap this opportunity? Should one look at IDFC or should one look at IDFC Bank at this point in time?
Well, Sakshi, at this point of time, I think it's better to look at IDFC Limited because, as I mentioned, the overall after post the merger, the IDFC Limited shareholder will be benefited from this particular ratio. So looking at the ratio 155 raised to 100, I think it's a good bet to go along with the IDFC Limited. And technically, as I was saying, IDFC Limited is looking more stronger than IDFC First Bank. It is trading at their respective 15-year high. We have seen a fresh breakout recently. And one more point that just want to highlight, the book value will increase by 5% for the IDFC First Bank,
Hmm.
and they will be issuing less number of shares. So because of that, the book value will increase by another 5%. So that will again have a positive impact on the IDFC First Bank. But purely from arbitrage point of view, I think it's better to go long in IDFC Limited. The risk and reward is still looking favorable, and any decline could provide a good opportunity to make a fresh entry. Existing shareholder, I think it's better to stay put with the long positions. Today we have seen a fresh breakout. I think on the upside it may move towards 115 to 120 in the short term time frame, and there are certain regulatory authority approvals are still pending. So it's still a long process. It's just an announcement that we have got. So there will be some more time that might take for this particular merger to happen. And before that, we might see a positive move to continue in IDFC Limited towards 115 to 120.
Okay, understood that. You know, in the last 1 year period, we've actually seen the IDFC First Bank shares rally about 130%, while on a year-to-date basis, 30% move is what we have seen. Meanwhile, IDFC stock has gained about 110% in the last 1 year and 32% so far this year as well. You know, the other point, Nilesh, that I wanted to understand from you is that we've been seeing constant, look at how IDFC Bank, will it make it to the MSCI index now going forward from here? Have you read through the kind of concerns right here? There are requisitions that perhaps IDFC Bank shares will have to rally at least 10% more to really make it to the cut of the MSCI index. Is that something that investors should be watching out for too?
Absolutely, Sakshi. So if you look at the news, there are high possibility of MSCI inclusion of near about 170 to 180 million dollar. That will happen in August 2023. So we still have another one odd month for this particular MSCI inclusion. And before that, if at all we see any move beyond 117 rupees in IDFC Limited, that will certainly have a positive impact, and we might see that inflows. But looking at the overall current scenario as well, we believe that there are high chances of this particular inclusion, and we might see the inflows as well. And as you have rightly pointed out, IDFC Limited has witnessed a strong rally in last couple of months, couple of weeks now, and the kind of run up that we have already seen, I think there could be possibility of some profit taking at the high levels, but the momentum looks strong. And if at all we see any sort of decent profit booking, that would provide a good opportunity to make a fresh entry. And on the upside that I was mentioning about the target of near about 115 to 120, that can be seen on immediate basis, but the fair value should be near about 170.
Okay, understood that. That's as far as the IDFC and IDFC First Bank impending merger is concerned, and the strategies that investors should follow between these two stocks. Now let's move on to see another moving stock in today's trade, and that is Bajaj Finance. The share surged about 8% today. The company has reported upbeat numbers for the quarter. There's a business update that the customer franchise as of June 30th has stood at 72.98 mm, and we've also seen the highest ever quarterly increase for the customer franchise. We've also seen the deposit book is approximately at 49,900 crores as of June 2023, with a growth of 46% right there. The AUM, or the assets under management, have increased by 32%. For the company as well. Consolidated net liquidity surplus has stood at 12,700 odd crore rupees. So a whole lot of positives coming in there. We've also seen brokerage houses now raising the targets of Bajaj Finance. In fact, talking of targets of as high as 9,000 rupees as well. 7.9%, 8% almost a move right now. 79.15 coming in for Bajaj Finance, and Bajaj Finserv is also getting pulled along with it. We're seeing 5.5% move on that one too. What is your own sense of Bajaj Finance, the kind of business update that we have seen? And for investors who are looking at a fresh opportunity, does it still make sense at 79.16 to really have Bajaj Finance or Bajaj Finserv as well in their portfolios?
Well, Sakshi, absolutely. The structure-wise, it is looking very strong. There was an opportunity a couple of months back when the stock slipped below 6,000 sort of levels. But those who have missed that kind of opportunity, I think it's better to wait for some profit taking to happen. Then we can expect stock to further move towards 8,200 to 8,500 sort of levels on the higher side. It is currently trading near about its all-time high mark of 8,000, and post breakout above 8,000, we can expect another round of buying, another leg on the high side towards 8,500. But at current level, the risk and reward is certainly not favorable. Those who are already holding the long position can continue to remain long with the stop loss below 7,500 for the upside target of 8,500. And any decline could be a good opportunity to make a fresh entry in the range of 7,600 to 7,800. Whereas if somebody wants to play Bajaj Finance, I think Bajaj Finserv at current level is giving a good opportunity. Where although today it is also up near about 7%, but there is still room on a high side to move towards 1,800. So it is trading at corrected level compared to its previous all-time high mark of 1,880 to 1,900. It is currently at 1,632. So there may be another patch-up rally we might see in Bajaj Finserv as well. But as far as Bajaj Finance is concerned, the structure it is looking very strong for 8,500 sort of levels on the high side.
Okay, many thanks, and Nilesh, for sharing these insights with all our viewers. The markets continue to soar high even now, 319 points higher for the Sensex at 65,523, record levels there, the 19,392 currently for the Nifty as well. So the markets are continuing in momentum. How long will this rally sustain is something that we will continue to speak to all our experts to help you understand more about how should you be approaching markets at these record levels. Until then, many thanks for tuning in.
आप ये यूएस विजिट को देखें। आपने सबने देखा होगा, सबने फोन में, तो अब सब हम लोग फोन पे ही लगे रहते हैं सुबह से शाम तक। अब क्या देखा आपने? देखा कि आज तक पहले भी बहुत प्रधानमंत्री यूएस जा चुके, इस बार ये विजिट कुछ अलग स्तर का विजिट था। क्यों था? ये था क्योंकि एक मोदी जी की अपनी पहचान, मोदी जी की छवि, मोदी जी का एक किस्म से जो उनको दुनिया में आज लोग मानते हैं कि दुनिया में और खासकर डेमोक्रेटिक वर्ल्ड में वो अब एक बहुत सीनियर, एक्सपीरियंस्ड, क्रेडिबल लीडर है। और